DICE just announced that they're finally addressing the biggest concern with Battlefield 2042's Vault weapons. The upcoming Season 5 is finally going to add Battlefield 2042's standard attachments to the Vault weapons. Plus, the 5.0 update will also let you apply universal weapon skins to Vault weapons. The first batch of guns getting overhauled are the ACWR, M16, A91, M416, MTAR-21, the AEK-971, and the Goal Sniper Magnum. And the addition of the 2042 attachments should actually bring some of the Vault weapons in line with the rest of the game's arsenal. Now, this specific issue has been a huge sticking point for the community and definitely one of my bigger gripes with the Vault weapons since they first started adding them to the game. They felt out of place and underpowered compared to the stock weapons. And while some of that just boiled down to the weapons not handling particularly well, most of it seemed to be caused by the lack of versatility with just not having a bunch of attachment options. With almost any of the regular 2042 guns, you can modify it on the fly to be stealth CQB or have longer medium range capabilities. But with the Vault weapons, how they performed at the base level is pretty much how they always perform. There's no unlocks or upgrades that you could get for them. You don't even get options like extended mags to help them compete with the raw capacity of the other weapons in the game. And for me personally, this meant pretty much ignoring Vault weapons altogether as they were just inferior to pretty much everything else. But now with the 5.0 update, they're adding critical attachments like better optics, different suppressors, extended mags, and new grips. The one thing missing, however, is the different ammo types that 2042 weapons have. This isn't a huge deal, but it does mean that you won't be getting any fire rate increase or damage extension options with the Vault weapons. However, DICE are reviewing the process of adding ammo types to Vault weapons, but they say it may require some additional work. Now, the initial weapons getting these attachment upgrades will come with the launch of Season 5, while the rest will get updated throughout the rest of the season with 5.1 and 5.2 patches. They specifically said that they want the Vault weapons to bring a lot more versatility and that some of them will compete directly with the top guns in the game, while others might still just be more nostalgia choices that can hold their own but probably won't ever be meta. Now, the extended mags are especially a big aspect of making the Portal guns competitive. Most of the weapons in 2042 really start to feel powerful when you actually unlock the bigger mags, and with the Portal weapons having never had those options before, they just never achieved that next tier of power. As for customization, Vault weapons are also getting upgraded with universal weapon skins that are currently available for all the 2042 guns. These are basically the skins that you unlock as you rank up. They're not the super crazy custom skins. This will bring them more in line with the customization that was offered in past titles like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. It should hopefully go a long way toward making the weapons feel more personalized. It would be cool to see some custom skins at some point down the road, but I'm not holding my breath on that front. Now, speaking of future content, DICE's latest episode of Inside Battlefield revealed that we're getting a new weapon for Season 5 that has 50 in the name. That could refer to a 50 caliber sniper rifle like the Barrett, or maybe the Desert Eagle. Season 5 will also bring some balance changes to the game. The G57 pistol's burst fire mode is getting nerfed. A bit sad, but totally understandable, as few sidearms could actually compete with its insane power. The RM68 also seems like it's going to get a little bit of a nerf. Both are currently very powerful, and while they can be extremely fun to play with, it's hard to deny that they need a bit of a nerf compared to the other weapons in the game. Now, combining the Vault weapon update with a new map, multiple new weapons, squad management, the Hourglass rework, and probably more, it seems like Season 5 is really shaping up to be quite an update for 2042. Now, will it be the final update for this game? The leaks and data mining seem to suggest that more is in store after Season 5, but if DICE is planning additional content, they seem to be content with keeping fans in the dark for the moment. But I do think that 2042 is really primed right now to keep fans of the franchise engaged if they continue to support it with content. Every time a new season releases for this game, the player base spikes pretty substantially, and it's keeping the player base very healthy in general. DICE has certainly succeeded in bringing back the player base and re-engaging fans with their good and fun content. And I've got to hand it to DICE with their 2042 support. Most people, and certainly I had my doubts, were expecting them to cut and run as EA has historically done with countless botched releases. But instead, the devs went down a long checklist of what's wrong with the game and have been checking off each issue with each patch. Playing 2042 right now compared to when the game launched is like playing a completely different title, and for that, I give DICE thanks for sticking with it. Does it excuse the state that the game launched in? Definitely not. But I think the damage it caused has certainly been felt by the studio, both in profit losses and damage to their overall reputation. That said, due to the unfinished state of the game at launch, fans have missed out on better narrative content and almost certainly getting more maps. Fixing the base game and updating the legacy maps meant less new content and less exploration of what 2042's world was supposed to be. I kind of laugh every time I see the satellite intro for the game, as it was a major plot point for the entire no-pat war concept, which never really got any further explanation. Now, as many of you know, Vincent Impella has been brought in to take charge of the franchise, and he recently did an interview with Axios talking about his career and briefly mentioning the future of Battlefield. Basically, he's taking on the job of repairing the franchise's reputation and seems to be keyed into the most important aspects of why the franchise is important. He said, and I quote, "It's best not to think of Battlefield simply as a Call of Duty competitor. It has a specialness around the squad play and those only in Battlefield moments where you can kind of see something come together where it just blows your mind. I can't really say too much just because we're not really talking about it yet, but there's a lot that we can do there." And reading that, it really is sort of the main thing that sets Battlefield apart from other shooters. I very clearly remember loading up Battlefield 1942 for the first time and seeing things that I had never seen in any other video game. Full-out warfare with crazy stuff happening that only ever happened in Battlefield. And as the franchise evolved, the emphasis on teamwork became a much bigger focus and sticking point of what really resonated with players. Now, of course, I have no idea specifically what Vince is planning to do with the franchise, but continuing down the Battlefield path with those two things at the forefront does sound promising. Looking at the future of Battlefield 2042, for me personally, I think the new portal weapon content is really going to inject a lot more experimentation and fun into the game. DICE has been churning out those portal weapon packs like crazy, but they've kind of meant nothing to me due to the limited functionality of each weapon. Making these weapons more moddable and even competitive with the base guns is going to be a huge deal. Considering just how many of them are currently in the game right now, Season 5 could bring many new viable weapons into its arsenal. Now beyond that, I'm really enjoying playing Battlefield right now, both just casually by myself and with friends. How are you guys enjoying Battlefield these days? Do you think Season 5 will be the last update for the game, or do you think there's more seasons on the way? Let me know in the comments, and next up, check out this video about one of the most realistic shooters that I've ever seen. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.